Hey y'all, it's your bipolar buddy Ren, checking in, seeing how y'all are doing. I know I've been gone for a little while, haven't posted. I had some minor surgery. I'll call it minor. It was outpatient surgery a couple weeks ago now, and I just have been recovering, not feeling that great. As you can see, I'm all reclined on pillows. I can't sit for a couple more weeks, so I've just been spending a lot of time in bed, which, let me tell you, has been contributing to feeling depressed. I'm sure if you've had experiences with depression, you know it's kind of a slippery slope between like lounging in bed, feeling good, getting some rest, and suddenly, bam, your mood tanks. So, what I wanted to tell you about today, which is honestly something I've been struggling with, is how you can keep afloat during depressive episodes. So, and it's been probably about a week since I really noticed that I'm definitely struggling right now. Pretty much in the same way that I struggle when I'm in a depressive episode. Like, it's hard to get out of bed, but at the same time, it's hard to get to sleep. So I'm up half the night, which means that I'm in bed late. I want to take naps during the day, which then means I'm up late, which means I'm in bed late, and it just snowballs. Having trouble getting my housework done, not wanting to eat or eating too much, just all of the general things. And a lot of it's happening, I think, because I'm kind of stuck in my apartment most of the day in bed. I have no company. It gets a little lonely, to be honest. Pretty lonely. No, there's my buddy Mac. Say hi, Mac. He's helping me out today. So if my notebook goes flying up, that's why, because he's rubbing his face on it like a little champion. So I made a list the other day of some of the general things that I do to try to stay afloat when I'm in a depressive episode. Some of these are solutions that I've come up with over the years. Some of them were recommended by therapists or psychiatrists or things that other friends of mine do. This probably isn't like an earth shattering, oh my gosh, I never thought of that kind of endless list, but more of a reminder, a reinforcement of, these are the things that we should try to do for ourselves. Because sometimes it helps to know that you're not the only one who struggles with these things, and that, you know, there are other people who are like, oh, I should do this thing because it would really help, but I don't feel like it, but I should probably make myself do it. So, just kind of a general guideline before I get into the list is that you shouldn't try to do everything at once. I know that those of us who have bipolar, we want to achieve, right? You want to feel like you're doing a good job, like you're functioning, like a quote unquote normal person. And so there's a lot of pressure to perform, to feel like you're doing enough, like you're good enough. And if you try to do everything all at once, you're going to exhaust yourself, which is you're going to feel worse. So what I try to remember is that baby steps are important. You can't do everything at once. You can't be perfect, but just try to build slowly until you get to the point where you're, back to your baseline of being able to function. So, most importantly is to, be kind to yourself, take it slow, and don't try to be perfect, because nobody is perfect. It's not possible. So don't put that pressure on yourself. Uh, I do really find it helpful. This is kind of my last pro tip before we get into the list. That when I'm pushing myself to do all the things, get all the things done, tackle everything on my huge list, that I like to try to ask myself, what would I tell my best friend? What would I tell my bipolar bestie in this moment? Would I tell her that she needs to do all the things if, she's going to be doing a good enough job? Or would I tell her to be kind to herself, be gentle with herself, and go slow? That she's a rock star for doing one thing on the list, two things on the list, that she doesn't need to do it all. So I ask myself, what would I tell her? And then I try to tell that to myself if I find I'm pressuring myself too much. So I hope you find that helpful. And bear in mind, you don't have a bipolar bestie to tell you those things. Well, you do now. And their name is Ren. And so you save this video, you can go back to it, and anytime you need someone to tell you that you are doing enough, you are doing a great job, trying your best is good enough. You don't need to be perfect, you don't need to do all the things. You come back and you play this video, and your bipolar bestie friend is going to tell you what you need to hear. Okay, so again, this is kind of a diverse list. There are lots of things. So pick and choose kind of based on what you need. This isn't a one size fits all kind of thing. So, number one, sometimes this is the hardest part. Just get out of bed. You know, if you find you're not able to get out of bed during the day, like unless you absolutely have to, like go to the bathroom or something, um, start there. Get out of bed. Uh, go sit on the couch. Go sit somewhere else. Go stand by the window for a few minutes. Just get out of bed. That is step one. And if you can do that and you've been struggling to do it, super proud of you. You're a rock star. Keep doing it. The second, this one's really hard for me. I don't know if it's difficult for everyone. I've seen this a lot. Like, taking a shower sometimes is emotionally just overwhelming, right? It feels like a lot of steps, a lot of energy, like it's going to take so much out of me anyway, that it's hard to make myself want to get up and bathe. Um, I did recently kind of come up with like a little hack for myself to make it easier. If I feel like I don't want to take a shower, what I will do is tell myself, hey, all you need to do is, you know, you're not gonna shave anything, you're not gonna like super exfoliate, you're just gonna quick wash yourself off. Maybe do your hair. Maybe you can do your hair another time because I've got a lot of hair. Um, but that's it. That's all you're gonna do. And if you feel like more, you can go ahead and do it, but you don't have to. You don't have to. All you have to do is go in, quick soap, quick rinse, you're done. And I find that if I tell myself those steps and then like get out, okay, we'll moisturize like legs, arms, something small. And if we feel like more, then we will. If I give myself that permission to, you don't have to do this, but if you change your mind and you want to, you totally can. Then it makes it easier for me to, get in the shower in the first place and then not feel as much pressure. So if I don't want to, shave, exfoliate, do the hair, all those other things, don't worry about it. But if I do, great. I'll do it and then I'll feel fantastic. But either way, I took a shower. So yeah, that's kind of my, quote unquote hack for it. Excuse me with the awkwardness here. Um, and this one kind of follows in line with that. You don't have to take a shower to be able to do this, though. Change your clothes. Hanging out in your pajamas all day feels great, but when you're depressed, get yourself up, put some clean clothes on. Doesn't matter what they are. You don't have to look fancy if you don't want to, but sometimes I find that looking fancy makes me feel better. So, maybe dress up a bit. Not every day, but every once in a while, make yourself feel good. Um, I like to get up and put a dress or skirt or something that feels kind of dressy. Maybe do something with my hair. Like right now, I French braided it today. I don't necessarily like put my makeup on, do a full face or anything, but do whatever it is that's gonna make you look in the mirror and be like, I'm fabulous, I'm handsome, I'm beautiful, I'm gorgeous, I'm a knockout, I'm a badass. Whatever it is you want to hear for yourself, if you can look in the mirror and think good things about yourself, it's at least going to change your mood for a little bit. I carry that with me throughout the day anyway. Another thing that very difficult at certain times of the year, like I live in the upper Midwest. Right now, we still have snow on the ground. So, yeah, this one's a little hard sometimes. Getting some sunshine and fresh air, if you can. Because you've probably heard, if you're in the sun, you're getting vitamin D from sun exposure. That can help improve your mood, your vitamin D levels relate to your mood, and so on and so forth. But if anything, like just not being inside, not being under artificial lighting, I don't know, for me, that just, it feels good. And like I said, maybe you can't get outside. It's too cold. Something's going on. Open your drapes, open your blinds, get a little sunshine in. Maybe open a window if it's not too cold outside. If you can feasibly do that. Step outside for just a couple minutes. You don't have to be outside long. Just step out, take a couple breaths, take in the world around you. Remind yourself that the world is beautiful. I find that makes a difference for me. So, if you can, get some sunshine, get some fresh air. If you're feeling really ambitious, take a short walk, couple minute walk, whatever it happens to be, to the end of your driveway and back, to the end of the block and back, whatever. But again, that's if you're feeling ambitious. Going outside in the first place is a huge deal. So don't pressure yourself. Another one, again, these are all things I really have a hard time with. Calling someone, a friend, family member, whoever it is who happens to be in your support system, because you want to remember that you're loved, that people love you, that people want you around and in their lives, that you're not alone. This one's still hard for me to reach out because when I feel like I'm struggling, I feel like other people don't want to have to deal with that, whether they've communicated that or not. I feel like I'm going to be a burden, um, or a disappointment, or too much to handle, or just like people aren't going to want to deal with me or have anything to do with me when I'm struggling. So I tend to isolate, which is not good. Talking to people helps. Does it make things better all the time? Like, does it magic away the sad? No, but if you can, have just even a few minutes of conversation. Ask if someone will listen. Ask someone to tell you about their day. If you have pets, tell them about your pets. Just talk about something. It doesn't have to be the heavy things. But of course, if you can't talk about the heavy things with someone, that's always a plus. Um, so, like I said before, go somewhere. If you're going outside, may as well go somewhere, right? If you have the energy. Um, Anywhere. Like, I like to make it special. If I feel like I need to go somewhere, well, sometimes this isn't very special, but I'll walk to the grocery store. There's one like 10 minutes from me. Walk to the grocery store, get a few groceries, maybe a special treat while I'm there if I can afford it. Like some cupcakes or ice cream or a fancy cheese or something. Whatever it is, it'll be like, I earned this. I did a good job today. Other than that, I like to go to a coffee shop if I can afford that as well. Get a nice coffee, even if I don't stay there. Just like get the coffee and go home, because at least I got out and I saw people and I interacted with humans and I got a coffee. So it's a win all around. Um, this one is also difficult for me. This next one, um, trying to make sure I'm accomplishing one task a day. I find that some days it's like I can do many things, and then the next day I'm like, I don't want to do anything at all. It's fine. I did a bunch of things yesterday. Why do I have to do anything today? And it's hard to balance. But you know, um, if you can focus on accomplishing just one task a day, whatever it happens to be, doing your dishes, getting dressed, taking a shower, making a grocery list, sending an email, whatever it is that it happens to be, doesn't have to require a lot of work, doesn't have to be super time intensive. Just having accomplished something, I find, it's like, today really sucked, but at least I did the thing. I did a thing. I did something. I didn't just, sit and exist. I did a little more than existing today. I can be proud of that. Next, of course, I already talked about this, eating. Eating, of course. I know there are differences. Some people in their depressive episodes don't eat. Some eat all the time. Some, like me, kind of flip flop between. It's important to though, for those of you who struggle to eat something. eat something if you can during the day. I know it's hard when I have to force myself to eat because I'm not hungry, but I know I need to eat for like mood maintenance. It's hard and I cry because I don't want to have to do it. It's just, it feels awful to force yourself to eat when you're not hungry, when food doesn't sound good. Um, but try, if you can, even more awesome if you can try to eat something nutritious. Like, it doesn't have to be like the most super nutritious thing in the world. You don't have to eat 3 super nutritious meals a day. Just try to make sure you're feeding yourself. And if you can get some nutrition in, it's good to do that. Um, Again, I know these things are not super earth shattering, but just little refreshers, little reminders to support you as you're going through these episodes. Um, Next, I would say get your feelings out. Maybe you have an outlet, journaling, or creative writing. Sometimes I write prose poetry. Sometimes I just write feelings down. Drawing. Sometimes I color. Sometimes I sketch. Some people paint. Um, there are lots of ways to create and to get your feelings out. If you don't feel like you can write, you don't feel like you can draw, maybe do a voice memo. Pull your phone out. Just talk, record it, get it out, you know? Whatever you need to do to not carry those feelings inside you alone, because they're so heavy. And sometimes just giving voice to them in some way helps a little bit, because you're not just carrying it anymore. You're starting to release it. Um, and this is something that kind of comes from my therapist to make a list of positives about yourself. You know, for example, like, I am fantastic at feeding my cats. Um, Gosh, what else? I love my hair. I think my piercings look pretty badass. I am really good at making a cup of coffee. People like me, I think. Like, whatever it happens to be. And these don't have to be major things, they can just be small things like, I like my eyes, or um, I tell pretty good jokes. Um, I'm, whatever it is, whatever it is. But I find this is the part that comes from my therapist. If I make a list of something and put it somewhere up around my apartment, um, that I'll see it, I will start to read through those things every time I'm near it, every time I'm like in front of it or glancing in its direction. I'll start reading the items on that list. And the more I read them, the more I start to internalize them. And so I've made lots of different lists, like things I deserve, ways I deserve to be treated, things I deserve to be told. I do ones of like positive affirmations at the end of the day, like today I did, or today I was. Um, Trying to think of some other ones, like things I don't need in my life, things I'm going to accomplish, things that I want to remember that I am, that I can do, that I'm capable of. And I find that the more I do this and the more I read them, that these things just sort of become part of my narrative of myself. That I deserve to be loved, that I am loved, that I am wanted, that I can show people that they matter and that they can show me the same things, that I don't need to have people in my life who can't show me that I matter, for example. So I start to like build this into how I think about myself and how I think about my interactions in the world and the place that I fill in the world. And it starts to kind of build me up slowly over time. And periodically, every few weeks, once I notice that I'm not really stopping and reading the signs anymore, I'll take them down and I'll replace them with new ones. So I will stop and will read and will start to like internalize and build new things into my narrative. Um, So I suppose those are those are my suggestions. Basically, take care of yourself. Do things that bring you joy. If you have pets, take a little time and just look at them and play with them. I mean, well, cats anyway. I pet them and look at them and think about how wonderful they are and that they love me and that they need me and that I'm so lucky to have them because they bring me so much joy. And that's something I can cling to, you know, that everything else in this world might suck. Everything might be horrible. I might hate myself, but you know what? My cats love me. They love me and they need me. And I have to be here for them. So if you can find one thing, that one thing to kind of cling to keep as your reason to keep going, to get out of bed, to not give up, I think that's wonderful. And don't forget, you don't need to do everything. You don't need to be perfect. Probably the one person who expects you to really be perfect is you. You're probably far more critical of yourself than anybody else in your life. Whether you, I mean, it might seem like everyone else is more critical. It's probably that you are more critical of yourself than anyone else. At least I find this to be true of me and some of the people that I know. Um, so, if you're feeling depressed, above all, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Make sure you're eating, sleeping, getting out of bed, getting sunshine, doing something. Stay active in little ways if you can. Try to get your feelings out. Try to build yourself up. Try to continue keeping your connections with the world around you and the people in your life. And don't forget that you matter. That as much as things suck right now, they're not going to suck always. That you've been through this before and you got through it and you will again, whether it feels like it or not. You know, I can't tell you when, can't tell you how, but it will get better someday. I promise. It'll get better someday. And you are not alone. So, I'm going to stop blathering now. And if you have any suggestions for things that you like to do when you're fighting off a depressive episode, folks with bipolar, folks who just experience non-bipolar depression, jump in, share your ideas. What do you like to do? Is there anything on the list that you're like, I absolutely hate doing that, or I can't do it, or it doesn't help? Let me know. Let's have a conversation about it because I'd love to know what you do personally. And of course, any questions, drop them in the comments. All right, this is your bipolar buddy Ren signing off, sending you love and support.